It's the end of the month, and that means it's time to set up next month's budget. So you're going to want to stick around to see how we set up for August 2022 with our zero-based budget for this family of 3. Hi friends, and welcome to the Budget Bounce. If we haven't met yet, I'm Jen, and we talk all about living life on a budget, paying down our debt, and saving for our future, along with all the life that happens along the way on this channel. If those are things that interest you, you're going to want to hit that subscribe button down below and tap the bell so you won't miss any videos that I post in the future. We're setting up our August 2022 monthly household budget. We always use a zero-based budget, so we're going to try to estimate what our income is going to be and spend it all on paper, if you will, before the month comes. Give it some direction, give it some guidance. We do have some things that are some variable expenses that are up in the air, and so I am just going to have to guess at what those are going to be, and we'll be talking about those as we move through the budget. So let's head on over to the spreadsheet and have a look. All right, and here we have our budget template that we have been using for 4 years, and we're going to be setting up for August. What I did, the only thing I've done so far is copied over July and then cleared out, all the things from July. So nothing in column C, which is what we're focusing on today, the budgeted column, nothing has been changed since July. So let's take a look here. So in income, I always black out our regular salaries from our regular jobs. And then I include our rental income and anything else that's coming in. We always have the sinking funds line and the emergency fund in the event that we know that we're going to be using from those for some reason. And then there's extra lines in case we have other income that comes in. So our total that we are expecting at this point in time is $10,795 for our income in August. So that's what we're working with today. We need to give it a purpose down here in the rest of the budget, which goes all the way down here. Okay, and give it that roadmap, because I'll say it over and over. Matt and I are both spenders. We are emotional spenders, and we do not do a good job of controlling that. And we have to have our money earmarked for other things in order for us to make sure that we have everything that we need where we need it. I know that sounds ridiculous, but I know us well enough to know that this is the best thing for us. And really, it's a great plan for anyone, especially if you have some big financial goals. You can, make your plans, and if you're really good at sticking to a plan, once you set it, then that's a great way to overcome any debts and things like that you're trying to pay off, or to meet any savings goals that you're working on. So let's jump in over here and take a look. So in housing, I don't foresee that any of the things that are here are changing. We'll have $27.25 for the mortgage, $316 for our monthly gas and electric utilities, $122 for internet, and $153 for mobile services. It is time to pay the quarterly utilities, so for the city. So I'm going to enter those. Those will be $205. That's our water, garbage, sewer, recycle, all those fees. That'll be $205 for the last 3 months, for April, May, and June. So our total housing will be $3,522. Next up is transportation, and I am going to increase this amount significantly. We found out on June 30th, we had already established our budget for July, when we found out that we have a member of our family that is terminally ill, and she's young, and there's a lot of grief around that, especially for Matt. This is his niece, and he has been going down to St. Louis to see her every weekend. He is there again for the 4th weekend in a row. So he plans to do this until her time has passed. So we had used $300 in gas by July 10th, and that's what I budgeted for the month in July. So I am going to bump this actually to $600 for August, because I don't know how many trips we're going to have to make down there. So that is a significant bump, but it is our reality right now. We're going to have OnStar for $24. We don't plan on any repairs to, oh, I say that, there are going to be some repairs to the Lucerne. I think we'll have about 400. Is that right? No, I'm trying to remember what Matt told me. I think it's going to be 350. That's what we're going to put in here is 350 for repairs to the Lucerne. Nothing for the Traverse. We don't have any registrations and nothing for Uber. So we're expecting our transportation costs to be up significantly at $974. In food, I'm also going to bump this up because with travel comes more food expenses. Now, I will say we have been good about making some plans and sending some snacks and buying drinks and things like that ourselves, like from Walmart and whatnot, instead of him stopping on the road and picking up things at convenience, truck stops and gas stations and things like that, because it gets really expensive when you do it that way. So we have been trying to do that, but it just doesn't matter. When you're traveling, your costs for food go up. There's just no getting around it. So I am going to bump this up to 900. I'm going to bump dining to 250. I do expect that we will have a lot of food expenses because right now only Matt is traveling. We went one weekend with him so far. But right now, really, he is the one. He needs to get down there. He needs to spend time with his family and go through this process with them. This is his sister's daughter, and it's just, they grew up together. She was like a little this niece was like a little sister to him. So anyhow, we don't have any expectations of anything for the kiddos, so I'm going to leave that blank. And then for pets, I expect that food is going to be, I think we need to put 100 in here. It's costing about $65 for us to get a carton of food for Lucy for her prescription diet, and it costs about $35 with the Petco rewards and the PALS rewards that we have. It's only costing about $35 or $6 for a bag of food, and we go through about one a month for Uther. Grooming is $25, and then other supplies $45. That brings total pets to $170. Up next is insurance. These will be as expected for the most part. Accident $35, nothing to auto because we just paid it in June. Critical illness is $74. Dental is going to go up to, I believe, $25.50. And hospital indemnity $40, identity theft $12, legal $15, $92 life, $60 for union dues. This is going to go up to $500 even for medical, and nothing for pet insurance because I did cancel that. And then $62 for short-term disability. So that brings the total to $919. In entertainment, we're planning on $35 for streaming, $4 for HP Inc., and $10 for Cinemark, and $30. I'm actually going to make this $0 for family entertainment. We don't have any plans on anything in August. So that brings the total to $49. In health, we are going to put $514 into our flexible spending accounts, $33 to the gym, and nothing to, oh, actually, this can't be nothing. I think it's going to be $25, I think, for healthcare. So $572 is the total for health. We don't currently plan on any extras, but this is kind of the catch-all category for things that I want to call out separate from the next category, which is there's an all other miscellaneous line here. There are some miscellaneous things that I like to be able to see what they are and go back and look and see how much we paid. That's what this extra section is for. These are things that don't fall in any other category on the budget. If they did, they would be down here in all other miscellaneous, but I want to call them out. So we don't currently have any plans for that right now, for anything in there. And then miscellaneous personal spending will be $60, household $100, all other miscellaneous $100, and total miscellaneous comes to $260 then. I do see that we will have some extras, and possibly, maybe I should increase this all other miscellaneous to $150, just because of the travel expenses and things that are going on right now. And that brings it to $310. Next up is our emergency fund. And so we are planning on putting in $100. We have stopped all investments, so we're not going to put anything into investments. And that would be like investments into like M1 or Acorns or anything like that, the individual brokerage accounts that we have. And then college savings will still be $100 and retirement will be $611, bringing our total savings to $811 for the month. And in sinking funds, let's have a look here. So auto insurance is going to be $170. Auto registrations, we will do, actually we don't need to do anything. I'm going to make that $0. We're not going to put anything in bug. We're going to do 15 into business travel, 100 into city utilities. Yeah, 100 into city utilities, clothing 35, entertainment 15, estate planning 20, gifts 40, healthcare 40, nothing to Henry, 100 to holidays, 150 to home maintenance, 40 to image, 81 to life insurance, 50 to online subscriptions, 100 to pet expense. Technology will have 50. We'll do, we're not going to put anything into vacation this month. Vehicles will be 100. Wedding anniversary, we're not going to put anything in that. And then Xanthi is $0. And that brings our total to $1,106. These are things that are plugged in. Don't disregard column D, because that'll get updated throughout the month as we do our real expenses and everything. So 1,106 is what we're planning. I am going to remove this from here. That's what we used last month. Okay, so we have a couple of things. So first of all, we've got city utilities coming in for $205. And there was something else. Oh, the car, the repairs on the car, I said $350. So we'll pull $350 out for that. And let me just take a look and see what the other one was. And there wasn't another one, so it was just these two. So that brings our total to $555 that we plan on using. And let me show you what that does. If we go back up to the top, this has not been updated, so it's whatever this one is. We put this in here, and then it grabs whatever that total is. So we plan on pulling $555 out and making it part of our income for the month. And so that brings our total bucket to $11,350. All right, so now we're on to debt, and we have so many debts that we have 3 different sections that we have to kind of break everything out. The top section is the part that we have paid off, and actually I'm going to make this a little bit smaller. There we go, so that way I'm not overlapping what's there. This is our paid off section, and it totals up everything that we've paid off 100% in full, and it's like in the rearview mirror. So we have $56,854 that we have paid off so far. And then the next section is charged off or collections, and there's a total of $5,476 here. You'll notice there are different font colors. So pink is anything that has my name on it. Black is anything that only has Matt's name on it. And that was so that we could differentiate between the two when we started out way back in the day, but it's just, I've just never changed it. And, you know, Matt's philosophy was he wanted us to focus on things that had my name on them before his, because his credit was already a wreck at that time. And he didn't want both of us to have a complete mess going on. So that was why we differentiated between the two, so I could keep track, because we had over 40, I think we had over 40 debts when we started. I think we had 38, but we ended up with like 42 or something like that. It's a lot to keep track of. So anyhow, so then we have our actively paying section. And so let's just run down through this. Child support, I do believe, will be $0. We got the official notice in the mail from the state that he has fully paid this in full, this one. So I don't expect to have anything. Again, these are things loaded over off the screen that I'm recording here that you can't see. So disregard all of this. So then there's going to be $90 to this credit card, $80 to this credit card, $91 to this child support, $50 to this credit card, $50 to the private student loan, $550 for the car payment, $205 for the HELOC, $400 to this credit card, nothing for graduate student loans, and $300 to the family loan, and nothing for undergrad student loans, bringing our total to $1,817. And so you'll see here we have our total expenses are $11,403. Our total income though is less than that at $11,350. And that means we're going to need to either pull out of a sinking fund for something, or we need to reduce our expenses. So the things that I bumped up significantly, like the gas and the food and things like that because of the travel, I'm not going to change those. And actually, I think miscellaneous is not high enough. It probably needs to be more. So I am going to instead not put anything, so here, let's do this. I'm going to not put anything, I'll do $47 over to the emergency fund instead of doing the full 100. And that brings our total to there. We're just right at zero. So it doesn't have to be zero exactly. It just has to be, I try to keep it within $1 or $2. So that is, and then let's have one other look. I did pull up, it's been a long time since I remembered to do this on camera. I did pull up our annual expenses spreadsheet and looked to see what we have going on here. So housing, you can see we have city utilities, and oh, I forgot about this subscription to Microsoft. So we need to plan for that along with this expenses coming. Now this isn't paid out of the household budget. I have just a little bit of income from the budget bounce that I keep in a totally separate account that pays for this. But I do definitely need to get this subscription for Microsoft. Actually, I need to get that in there. So let's take a look and see what we have over. So this would be in extras. Budgeted would be 106. And then that means I need to pull pull money out of online subscriptions. So I'll pull 106 out of there. And then that changes our total income at the top. And that means that we land down here in the same place by doing that. So that is everything that we have planned for August. I don't know what the expenses are going to look like. I just don't know how long Matt's going to be doing this. His niece is in hospice, and we just don't know. You just don't know when this happens. So that is a really big outstanding question mark right now on how all of that is going to play out. In the meantime, we had talked about wanting to really buckle down and get our savings, stop saving so much and start putting that money towards our debt. And I am not inclined to make that change until we get past this particular issue that is happening with so many unknowns. But we are looking at, and I might do a separate video on this, but we are struggling with paying off the credit card versus paying off the car. Okay. And I think I will not go into it here. I will save it for a separate video, but there are, either one of those is a good option to focus on throwing all of our extra to, but I'll talk about it in the video about why it's such a dilemma. So that is what we have planned for, August of 2022. If you are interested in seeing this budget and a little bit more about it, I do sell it in my Etsy shop, and the link is always included in all my descriptions of all my videos. And I sell it in both Google Sheets and Excel format, so you can purchase it either way, and they both have the same functionality. And I'd love to hear from you about how things are going with you setting up your August budget. Have you gotten that done yet? Are you working on it? Some people don't do it until the day before or the first, or sometimes even the second. I try to get ahead of that to make sure that we have the plan before we get there. And things happen. Like I said, last month on June 30th, on the last day of the month, everything was set for July, and then life happens. And life happens all the time to all of us, which is why it's important to have some money set aside for those things. And we have the emergency fund, which we try not to use. We try to use from the sinking funds before we take from the emergency fund. Or in this case, we didn't put any more towards we actually reduced how much we were going to put in the emergency fund so that we didn't have to pull anything out of any other funds. So it's a balancing act. You have to figure out what's going to happen every time an obstacle is thrown at you in your way, or something that just gives you a hiccup in your path. You have to be able to adjust and adapt. So that's our August and what we think it might look like. There are a lot of things up in the air here that we just don't know what's going to happen. But the good news is that we have sinking funds and an emergency fund to help us get through this, because life happens all the time. And it's really important, especially if you're just starting your journey, to at least get, even having $200 set aside in an account. If all you could do was $200 before you started paying down debt or whatever other financial goals you have, that would take care of, a lot of times that takes care of a service repair. If you're not renting and you own your home and you have to call somebody to come out and look at appliances or whatever, it's anywhere from $89 to $189 for those visits, depending on what it is and what they're doing. And so $200 might cover that for you. If you could get $500 or $1,000 in before you start, even better. And it's because of things like this. We didn't have plans for this. And the other thing that I forgot to mention is our refrigerator broke down on Thursday. So I'm recording this on Saturday. Our refrigerator broke down 2 days ago. So now we're shopping around trying to find a different refrigerator. So I don't have that in here because I don't know what that's going to look like, but it will be reported when we eventually purchase. We are looking on Marketplace, shopping around at stores for something new, and also looking at replacing the compressor died on it. So who knows what's going to happen with that, but that's the thing. That's why our sinking funds and our emergency fund are important in our budget. That's really important to us to have those. So again, love to hear how your August setup is going. If you want to share in the comments anything, unexpected that you had and how you're tackling it, I'm sure others could gain some inspiration if you want to share. And that's our August 2022 budget and all I have for you guys today. So I'll see you next time.